the storytelling is the emotion of the video. People won't remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And how you make people feel is in the storytelling.
Hey, Jesse, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Great. I've been following you in the past days. One of the things that we can discuss is about, this series that you're doing about public speaking and everything. We're going to get in there in a second. I'm very curious to talk about it. But before getting started, this is what I ask to everyone on the podcast, right? So it could be a creator, could be an influencer, could be a brand manager, could be a marketer, someone working in the industry. I asked to talk about themselves, about it set up just like, going a bit random. We use this thing, that is called a map. Basically, it is divided in 3 sections. It is the mission. So what do you aim to achieve with what you do? The achievements, anything that you're really proud of that you can share with us, and the purpose. So why do you do what you do?
Yeah, thank you for kicking things off on a hot start here. I would say my mission is to lean into challenge, to show that challenges and hardships and struggles, they equal growth. It's just like any good story. We go through life and we face struggles, and then on the other side, we come out a new person. And I think we can all relate to struggles, whether they're mental health, whether they're work-related, whether, physical struggles, whatever it is, we all face them. They're uncomfortable. And I want to show people that it's actually those challenges, when we lean into them, that leads to the growth and coming out the other side as a different person. And the achievements, it took me longer than I would have expected or wanted to get to where I am today. Mm-hmm. I was working a job out in California. I'm from California originally, and I was struggling with that job. I was working in an office, very, very unhappy, very unsatisfied. And I moved out to New York. And when I moved to New York, I committed to pursuing my dreams, and that is creating videos. And I started creating videos, was making videos on topics about cryptocurrency, vlogging, food channels. I tried the gamut of different topics to make content on, and I failed time and time again. And the only person that viewed them and watched them and commented was mostly my mom. And she was the only one commenting and supporting. So I can say now, when I started to open up and share my story and my struggles and my true experiences, that's when I really started to see the growth. And so now I've leaned into that and grown an audience of over 500,000 across all platforms, and am now a full-time content creator. So it's been a long, struggling journey, but it's an arduous journey, but it's been very, very rewarding at the same time. My purpose, honestly, I love being able to make videos that have an emotional impact and change the world in a positive way, and can change someone's life in a positive way. I grew up creating videos with my family and watching movies, and they always had the biggest emotional impact on me. And the fact that I get to do that every single day with my work, I am over the moon about it, and it just makes me so happy.
Amazing. Yeah, I know that it's not easy to grow something. And then, when you also especially say about New York City, I also live in the city, and it can be competitive, can be challenging, on every aspects of life. So let alone when it comes to creating content and competing with many others. So good job on that. So as I was mentioning at the beginning of this episode, basically I think that you did something very cool. It is that I'll try somehow to call it the building in public, because it's what many creators, many entrepreneurs are doing these days, right? They come up with a new idea and they're like, hey, follow me in the journey with a little bit of transparency of what I built, because I want you to understand that all these gurus online tell you that everything is amazing all the time, while it said you're going to have ups and downs, you're going to have challenges and so on. And so, as someone is building in public, maybe a startup, I think that in this last series about, getting, ready for public speaking, it was a sort of building that sort of thing to get ready. And so tell me a bit more about this experience. So again, you were saying I've got I'm excited all the time, just thinking about going public speaking. And then you did these little videos every day, getting ready for it. Did you come up with the idea, and how was for you this approach? Did that help you? Did it help others when it comes to public speaking?
Yeah, great question. So a couple weeks ago, I got an email from ABC asking me to be on the Tamron Hall show on live TV, filmed in front of a live studio audience. And public speaking for me is something that I've avoided for the past 20 years. Every opportunity that's come up, I've run in the opposite direction. So when this came through, both my manager and my fiance convinced me that it's something I needed to do. I was actually going to pass. There's no way. I saw that email come in and I didn't respond to it. And I was like, hopefully if I don't respond to it, they're just going to run out of time. They're going to have to move on to somebody else. And, but the problem is that email address goes to both me and my manager. So he saw it too and he responded. And immediately my fiance and my manager talked me into doing it. So I agreed to do it. And for me, content creation, as I said in the beginning, my mission, I really, really want to show people that the challenge, as uncomfortable as it is where all the growth is. So it was so on brand for my content to lean into this and to do something that pushes me way outside my comfort zone. And I think documenting the journey, it helped because it made me more committed to learning what I need to learn to accomplish what I need to accomplish. In part of the journey, I booked a public speaking class to prepare for this TV show appearance. I don't think I ever would have done that if I wasn't going to document the journey and say, okay, I'm going to make this a series where over the next 5 days, because I was officially, when I was able to like announce that I was going on the show, was about 5 days before. So in that span, I said, I'm going to book a public speaking course, document that, and start this documentation of daily things I can do to get better and better each and every day. And if I wasn't documenting that, if I wasn't showing the journey, showing the story, I wouldn't have been as accountable to actually put in the work to take the steps to do this. So yeah, I think it absolutely helps, and I think it gives the viewer an insight into the journey and shows more of the struggle, because it's from that perspective too. It's like you can see me say, oh, I got booked on the Tamron Hall show, and then the next step is the Tamron Hall show. Or you could see me every step of the way saying, I am so scared of this next step. I'm so scared to go to this public speaking class. I have anxiety leading up to this. I was talking to a confidence coach, Ben Clark. Shout out Ben Clark. He's a great creator. So yeah, I think it just gives insight to the audience and allows them to connect with you on a level that they wouldn't otherwise connect with you on.
So I said, let's talk about this, like the importance of storytelling, right? Because storytelling can be, these days kind of everything, because it could be a creator talking to their audience, could be the storytelling in an advertisement that want to be more informational or entertaining compared to the typical just buy this thing, Storytelling, it's way more important than ever. Were you always good at it? Is it something that you learn? Is this something that everyone can do? Did it take for you like some time to learn it? And yeah, like why is it important?
Great questions. It's not something I've always known how to do. It's definitely something I've crafted and invested time into learning over my span of creating content. But from a young age, I was making videos with my family. I was making homemade movies, and we were storytelling to a degree, but it was working on the craft kind of in an indirect way. And I grew up watching movies almost every single day. I'd watch TV, Seinfeld growing up, and just a bunch of movies. So it was kind of being indirectly infused from a very, very young age, and the love and the passion for it. But really, I think it takes working on it to doing it effectively for content creation. I was an awful storyteller when I started making videos, and that's why nobody was watching my videos. I didn't know how to craft a message, how to craft a story and put it into action. But it's important because the storytelling is the emotion of the video. I don't know who said it, but it's a great quote. It's, people won't remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And how you make people feel is in the storytelling. And it doesn't have to be a literal, like, once upon a time, or I went and did this and then this and then this. It can just be, setting up a point, talking about the conflict of the point, and then making, teaching something at the end. Like, that's a story arc. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is, even a talking head video where they're giving information that can follow a story structure and deliver the message in a meaningful, emotional way. But that's the importance of storytelling. It's the emotion. It's what gets people to care and connect to the video.
Hello! Is your brand ready to amplify its reach? Well, the Influencer Marketing Factory is here to do just that. We are a global influencer marketing agency helping brands ignite their growth, from influencer identification to campaign strategy, handling legalities and agreements to managing shipping and logistics. We have it all covered. We work with hundreds of brands across different verticals, from Fortune 500 companies to DTC brands. And we don't just stop there. With detailed ROI analysis, we help brands like yours measure success, transforming impressions into actionable conversions. You can find us at the influencermarketingfactory.com or just search the Influencer Marketing Factory on Google.
Another big topic that you usually talk about, it is also, anxiety, right? Treating burnout. I saw, some of your videos where you give, advice when you're having a panic attack and so on. What are some of the things and techniques that you find helpful for yourself? And I know, again, that you already shared these things already in your videos, but if you had to recap those that work the best for you, and then you share with others that were actually effective and they got back to you and be like, actually, you know what, I tried those things as either a creator or as any other person outside there that helped me out with either anxiety or burnout or panic.
When it comes to anxiety, there's kind of two ways of viewing it. There's the in the moment anxiety where, you're having a panic attack, you're feeling the symptoms of anxiety, and there's quick little hacks to kind of get out of that, get out of a panic attack. And one of the videos of mine that's gone extremely viral on TikTok and proven to be the most helpful, a lot of people have come to me and said that actually worked. I have a friend that, does EMT medical services, and he said he's used it with people before, and he thanked me for that because it works for them. And that's putting ice or something cold exposure in general on your wrist, your neck, your chest. And that basically just disrupts your body's panic response and kind of gets you out of that focus on heightening the anxiety.
So which are, in your opinion, some of the reasons that these days are bringing to either anxiety or panic attacks or burnout for content creators? Because, in the past, whenever I talk with other creators, it is either that you have to produce so much content that sometimes you don't know what to do anymore. Sometimes you lose completely your passion for it. Other times you have to stop reading the comments because of hateful, maybe things there. So these are some of the reasons why, but anything else that you're noticing, any other patterns happening these days?
I think you really nailed it there. I think all those reasons for sure give people anxiety, burnout. I have to limit my time browsing social media and watching other people's videos because sometimes I feel like I run out of ideas and I start browsing, looking through ideas with a good intention. And before I know it, I'm just completely depressed. I'm down because I'm like, how are these people's videos so much better than mine? How is everybody else's content so much better than mine? And if I'm not careful, the more I browse, the more depressed I get because I feel like my videos are just the worst thing in the world. So for me, I think what I've seen in my own life and in my own content journey is when I'm feeling burned out, when I'm feeling anxious, when content itself is in this whole game and this whole industry of content creation, when I'm invested in it and I'm feeling either burned out or anxious about this, it really comes back to connecting with my purpose and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Feel the most anxious or feel the most burned out, or when I feel the least amount of clarity in the direction I'm going and the message I'm trying to get across. If you don't know the message that you're preaching, if you don't know what you want to make videos about, if you're kind of losing that sense of purpose, even if you've been doing it for a while, then you start to focus more on yourself rather than helping other people and adding value through your content. If you don't have clarity of direction, then you can't really add too much value, and then the lens flips and it's all on you. So then it's like, how can I do more? How can I be better? Instead of how can I share this message that I'm really passionate about and help other people in the process? And if you're really clear about your purpose and the message that you want to convey, then I think it's harder to be burned out, at least from my experience.
When you say the others are always doing better than others. Even if that is not true, right? But our brain somehow is wired in that way. I wanted to change, gears for a second and going from content to something very important also that we discussed on the podcast, that it is monetization, right? There is still sometimes many myths about monetization for creators. There is still a lot of confusion sometimes. How do you monetize your content? And have you tried different ways? Are you using different ones? Do you try to minimize the risk and diversify your revenue streams? Do you prefer to do a 80-20 type of Pareto principle where you're like, you know what, I'm going to use 2 revenue streams and putting 80% of my time in that? What is your approach?
My approach right now is not where I want it to be. It's always something that I'm working harder and harder to get to a point where I'm really, really happy with it. Right now, the majority, if not all of my income right now is from brand deals and partnerships, which is a very scary place to be, both from a mental standpoint and a financial standpoint, right? Because if the brands don't want to work with you, then you have no money coming in. And for me, it puts a lot more pressure on getting views for the videos and getting attention and engagement, because, you need brands want to work with creators to be seen. So if you're not getting the views, it starts to get really stressful. So for me, I think it's very, very healthy and smart, healthy for your own mindset and freedom to create, and smart from a business and financial standpoint to create your own products, to create your own services, whether that is a course or coaching program or whatever it is. I think it's a really smart decision. And it's something I'm currently working on, a project of my own that I hope to release within the next month. I will release it. I don't hope. I will release it within the next month.
Are there any other things that you would like to share that you learn your way, that if you knew on day one, for any aspiring creators out there that are listening today, or even for not necessarily full-time creators, but also thinking about marketers that want to do as a part-time or a few hours a day, putting video out about what they do on their their job, or maybe they're excited about a new topic and they want to share it. Like, what would be some of the other tips or any words of encouragement, let's put it like that, for aspiring creators and both full-time and part-time that want to start these?
First off, recognize that you have value to share. That's something for a long time I didn't realize. And I was almost shy with my opinion, shy with what I wanted to speak about. I was very reserved and shied away from creating content for so long because I didn't recognize that I had value to give or that anybody would want to listen to me. But whoever is listening, whoever is out there, you have so much value. You have a wealth of experience, a wealth of knowledge, whether it's a broad knowledge or a very, very pinpoint knowledge that not a lot of people know. Whatever it is, you have knowledge in something and you have lived experiences that people will connect with you through when you share your story, when you share your experiences. So recognize that you have a lot of value to give first. And then also give yourself permission to not be perfect. Give yourself permission to create content that's bad, that's mediocre, that's just okay, that nobody watches. And give yourself the freedom to do that and permission to do that, because that is the first step. And if you don't start there, if you don't start somewhere that's at such a lower level than you want to be creating at, then you'll never get to that level that you aspire to create at.
Really, really great tips. So thank you for that. And I also would like to add, many times people are like, oh, maybe what I'm interested in and no one else is. And no, that's not true. There are so many niches nowadays, right? Also things on subreddits that are like, that exists. And then you get into this rabbit hole of information. So for anyone listening there and be like, hey, I have these things that are very niche, believe me, you're going to find people, maybe not millions, but they're going to have a very strong community, right? That want to listen. I don't know if that, some other creators that choose hyper niche, but I saw that some of them are killing it because they choose something very specific. There is no competition around it, and they're very active about it.
Yeah.
Well, Jesse, I wanted to again thank you for being with us today. I wanted to send good vibes for the new project that you're launching soon. And really, really hope that everything goes well. And for sharing the, in a very transparent way, I really appreciate that. Your journey so far. And I'm pretty sure that people listening today, no matter what they do in their lives, are gonna, use them in tactics from today already. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much, Alessandro. This has been a pleasure, and I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you. This was the Influence Factor by the Influencer Marketing Factory, and I'll see you next week.